Good afternoon. Welcome to Eretz Yisrael. I'm Avraham Shira. We are looking at a piece of Zohar. It's a very small paragraph, and it is amazing because in the simplest terms, it describes us the healing of the world, and it's very large, of course, and expansive ideas that you might not accept all the ideas. Well, that's okay. You can think not to accept or to maybe just postpone your decision. But before we go into this piece of Zohar, it talks about world healing, and we connect that to Shabbat through the Tikkuni Zohar. The Tikkuni Zohar is 70 Zoharic explanations of the word Breshit, because we know that in Hebrew, each letter can change places with all the other letters, and the vowels can change, and we can have multiplicity of meanings from one word. And that's what Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the most famous Kabbalist of all time, what he did with the word Breshit, the first word of the Torah. And in there, in the Tikkun, there's one of the Tikkunim of the word Breshit is Yireh Boshet. Yireh Boshet is where we take the letters of the word Breshit and we respell them to spell two new words. Yireh, fear, Boshet, shame. Now, Yireh can also be Yira'eh, and you will see shame. They don't sound like very positive ideas, right? Yireh Boshet, and they take that, the Yireh Boshet, fear of shame or seeing shame, we change the word Boshet to the word Shabbat. The Zohar says it's also Yireh Shabbat, the awe of Shabbat. To have awe on Shabbat seems to be very close to the goal of everything. Because when you have awe, then you appreciate everything. And everything is special and unique when you have awe. And when you have awe of Shabbat, you have awe of the gifts of God in time and space and above time and space, because Shabbat really is above time and space. We're not allowed to do anything in this world except, celebrate, pray and dance and eat and sing. And so Shabbat is this gift of above time and space, in time and space. And the Zohar is telling us that there is a concept of the awe of Shabbat. And then if you change the words, it could be awe or fear of shame. Now, shame we usually appreciate as something not so nice. But we also know something from this piece of Zohar that we're going to learn right now. And let's see where it takes us. And it begins, V'oto Nahar. The Zohar's been talking about this river, Dinor, which is a famous river, and the Christians have latched onto this idea and created some interesting ideas around that. But the idea of Dinor is a Jewish idea for the river that you must cross to get into heaven. And it's a river of fire. But obviously, it's not physical fire. Nobody's body is going in that river of fire. It's a river of fire, spiritual fire. And so this river is a metaphor for a current of light that does something to a human soul when it's on its journey outside its body. Now it says, V'oto Nahar, this is Ne'emar bo Nahar shel Eish Nimshach. A river of fire is drawn out from a very high level. V'yotze milefanav, and it goes out before him, the soul. Nishamot tzadikim, and the souls of the righteous, well, tovli v'netarot bo. They dip into this river of fire. They dip right in, no problem. Take out no bathing suit, right? And they are immediately purified. It's a fire that purifies the righteous. V'nishamot rashaim nidonot bo, and the souls of the evil folks. And then there are many levels of evil. We're not going to go into that now, but we're talking about the people that didn't even try, that actually went against God on purpose. Those are what we call a rasha. Really, a person that it's not only, he can't just be peaceful alone, leave others alone. He has to go out against God in very different ways. And so these souls, they are judged to go in this same river of fire. It's not a different river. Nivarot, and they are inflamed in it. Kakash lifnei esh, like straw before fire. It just ignites immediately when they hit that river. Two human beings, two completely different results from one river. Now, so we got to ask some questions here. The Zohar doesn't expect us to not ask questions. Asking questions is the hallmark of Judaism and wisdom. And so we ask, well, why the same river that purifies the righteous burns up the evil? What kind of river is that? And this is a concept. We have an idea in the Talmud teaches us there's 5 kinds of fire. The fire that eats fire is one of them. There's a fire that consumes physical matter. There's a fire that gives life. There's a fire that gives light. Okay, so one of them is the fire that eats another fire. And this fire that eats fire, well, it eats those folks who didn't merit, who didn't make the big choice in their life to change, who didn't decide they were on the wrong road. Now, the Zohar continues, Hashem Adonai Hi Chama. And Hashem, He is the anger. Now, we talked last night in class about the traits of God, that He created these personality traits that would enliven us and give us personality. Everybody has all 10 main traits, but everybody's balance of those 10 is different. And each of those traits is illuminated on what we call the tree of life of each individual has his own miniature micro tree of life. And of course, the macro fills the whole garden. And so now, but here we're saying that Hashem is the anger that burns in the righteous, no. Actually, the righteous can have a burning fire of anger when they see Hashem's name is profaned in public. But let's not go there. It's also Hashem's anger at the evil people. Hashem is the Chema. Now, the Chama is also not only anger, it's the same letters for the sun. Now, so wait a minute. God is God, and the sun is just one of the little things that He created in a massive universe. He created billions of stars, right? And so we're calling our little sun and our little solar system and our moderately sized Milky Way God. Like, that doesn't sound Jewish. That sounds like a star worship 101. No. What we're talking about here is that Hashem takes on emotional characteristics and metaphysical characteristics in order to operate the system in which the human soul must exist. What do I mean by that? Hashem hi Hachama. Hashem is the fire, is the sun. V'nartika shelo Adonai. So now we go to another level. We say that the Hashem, the name Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey, the special transcendental name we're not allowed to emit from our lips out loud. And some people do it all the time, and they don't know what they're doing to their soul, but they'll find that out too someday. The sun is like the name of God that gives life, because that name Yud K Vav K, K meaning Hey, right? That name means the emanator that takes from something and creates from nothing and creates something. Of course, Hashem is the ultimate something. He makes Himself into nothing, and then from that window of nothingness, He creates this physical world. So the Havaya, the name of God's emanation of creation, is like the sun giving forth light and life to everything on the planet. And then inside, that sun, though, is inside a protective shield. And in Kabbalah, it's called the Nartika, which literally means a little case. And we are told that one of the signs of the Messianic era is that the sun will be taken out of its case. And it will burn life for the righteous, and it will burn up the unrighteous, the Rashaim. So here it is right here. Hashem hi hama nartika shelo Adonai. So God fits his creative power in the concept called Aleph Daled Nun Yud, which is the name for his mastery. So mastery becomes a shield from the infinite light. And it also means the master. In other words, to approach the infinite creator, you have to have a concept of who he is. And the concept that you want to have in the beginning, because this is the lowest name on the tree of names. There's also a tree of names, like a tree of lights, a tree of traits, characteristics. So this name is the lowest name. The first gate you have to walk through is to see that he's the master. And I'm not. Even if you're a multi-billionaire, you're still not the master of anything but your own little realm, and you're not really the master of that realm, because Hashem is the master of all the little realms. He's the master of the ants and the galaxies. So even if you have this much power in the world, you should be blessed with the wisdom to use it properly. But nonetheless, we have to have the concept to approach the king. We have to know that he's the boss. He's the master. Now, but what does this have to do with the river? Okay, well, listen, v'zeo asod, and this is the secret, shamiduhu, that the rabbis have established at the time of the Zohar, 2,000 years ago, la'atid lavo, in the future. Now, they're talking 2,000 years in the future. That takes a lot of faith to talk that far into the future and not worry about it like it's not happening. I mean, it's not happening for me. It doesn't happen in my hometown. I don't get to show up for the redemption and the revelation of the Creator. Well, why should I serve God then? And that's why they didn't reveal the secrets, because they knew a lot of people would get off the train if they knew it wasn't going to happen for 2,000 years. So we have to be so grateful because we're here at the end of the ride and we get to see a lot more. And Motzi HaKadosh Baruch Hu et Chama me'anartika, in the end of days, God reveals, takes this sun, this name, Havaya, this life-giving name that when you utter it, you emit the force of creation from your mouth. And if you can't handle it, it will destroy like the sun. And the tzaddikim mitrapim ba, and the righteous people, all the righteous people. And the Rambam says the righteous, in the Hilchot De'ah, all you have to do to be righteous is have 51% good deeds. So even if you have 49% you haven't worked on yet, 51% in the Rambam's book makes you a tzaddik, makes you righteous. And that's enough righteousness to squeeze in under the gate of heaven. So don't question too much. Just do the best you can in every moment and you'll be fine. Because doing tshuva is tshuva on tshuva on tshuva, and there are infinite layers of the deceptions and the separations from the infinite light. But nonetheless, in this future realm, where this sun, this healing power of the name that gives life, the name that is above time and space, the name that has been used for many miracles in Jewish history by the right people, this name comes out of hiding. There's no longer a curtain over the stage. The curtain rises. We see who's behind the physical. We will see behind the physical veil. And the righteous will be healed. And the Rashaim nidonim ba, and the Rashaim will be judged. Before it said nivar, that they will be inflamed. What does it mean to be inflamed? Well, the rabbis say that if you make fun of or embarrass a friend in public, it's as if you killed him with the fire of shame. So that fire of shame is one light, and it flips two sides. One light is the light that heals the righteous. The same fire, it hits the Rasha, and it burns him up with shame. Because we suddenly see that all the books of all the sages of all the ages and the wise men of all the nations that accepted the idea of one God and understood the logic and the pertinence of it, they will be healed by the same light that will cause immense shame. shame that might make people do really hard, bad things to themselves. Because once it's revealed, we lose our choice to say, I'm sorry. Now, you could still say, I'm sorry after, the curtain goes up, but it's not the same to the King of Kings, because he wants your loyalty to come from purity. He doesn't want your loyalty to come from like a child looking to get away with something. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I was only joking. I was kidding when I did that sin. Well, if you're a child, it might help, but we're not children. And on that day, we won't be children. And you know that even if you have children right now in your living room or wherever off doing what they're doing, their soul might be older than your soul. And they might be wiser than you. It's just hidden more because they haven't gone through the whole developmental stages of growing up. The Rav Kook tells us that every generation is smarter and more beautiful. Don't you see it? Look at the pictures of our children, the most beautiful. And we look at his children 100 years ago, Hashem, Yerachem, they would look like every moment was a suffering to be on this planet. Maybe it was the black and white photography, I'm not sure. It didn't look too good to me. But the death rates were way, way up back then, and the lifespan was way down, and illness was out of control in so many places. I mean, maybe life has gotten better in a lot of ways. And so we connect this back now to this idea of Yireh Boshet, of the Tikkuni Zohar, the seeing of the shame. That's ultimately the punishment that the unrighteous people have to face. They get to see the shame of the things they did. And the righteous, well, we're trying to be those people that say, I'm sorry, God, before it's too late. We're trying to do tshuva. And the tshuva is the idea of returning a place back to its source. And what's the thing we're trying to returning? The glory of Hashem. And where is its place? Back to Hashem. We want to take the glory away from all the human endeavor of vanity that we see all over the internet, for example. We want to take the glory of the human being and put it back where it should be, on the throne next to our Father, our King. And when we return the glory to Hashem, then everything else gets a little more like an even playing field. And you don't get so excited by this sports star or by this movie star or this guy's income or that one's number of kills off in a war in a foreign country he shouldn't be in. You see, so when doing tshuva is what we're here for. It brings us back. And Shabbat is lashevet ba, to dwell in it, to sit down. And teshuvah is the same root word as Shabbat. To bring back, shin taf bet, to bring back the goodness, the glory to its source. So you see, in this healing of the world through Shabbat, is through the tshuva of Shabbat, we bring back the glory and we heal. And I've seen it in my life. I made a list of all the things that I've been healed from. I'm not going to read it to you now, but trust me, it's a long list. The things that I've had to heal from since I was in college, for example. And I was amazed that becoming religious, taking on Torah, pursuing the path of Hashem, with the help of the Zohar and the kabbalah and the chassidut and all the great people behind us, we heal. We heal in ways we cannot imagine. We heal in ways we don't even know we need to heal from. So enter Shabbat, join us with Shabbat, each person at their level, each person at their understanding. But our understanding must grow, and we need to open the books and we need to learn. But we're here to see here the Zohar is telling us that light of the shame becomes Shabbat, becomes the glory. And when we do tshuva and you say you're sorry, how much better do you feel? You turn the shame into glory. In your own heart, you feel good about yourself. I said, I'm sorry. I am sorry. And it could be to your child, and it could be to your boss, and it could be to the creator of the universe. All of them are good and all of them work. And then the world heals. The world is going to heal from the inside out, my friends. The world is not going to heal from a pill bottle or from anything else they're trying to sell you. It's going to happen inside out, from discovering that place of our true place, our glory next to the King of Kings. And that happens, well, it happens slow, it happens fast. Depends on you. You get to choose. But let's not wait till it's too late, till the curtain goes up. Let's not be afraid. We'll jump in the river and we won't get burnt. We'll be healed. And that's that river the Zohar is talking about here, Dinor, the river of light that every soul must pass through. So if we have to go through it, let's get ready ahead of time. God bless you all with a great Shabbat. We'll see you on all the platforms next week. Saturday night, we have Saturday Night Zohar. We've got some other amazing stories to tell that are more outrageous than this river of fire. So we'll see you Saturday night, God willing. All the best.